Welcome to a very chilly Week 9 edition of Inside the PTC. And the first game on the schedule this week sees Kent Roosevelt travel to take on Crestwood. The Rough Riders are tied for first in the Metro Division with Norton. Both teams are undefeated in league play. Roosevelt comes into this game 7-1 overall, with their only loss coming to fellow 7-1 team Stowe Monroe Falls in Week 2. The Rough Riders have been putting up big points lately. They put up 41 points 2 weeks ago in a win over, 2 weeks ago in a win over Field. They put up 33 in a win over Streetsboro, but I don't know if that'll be the case this week. They are likely to be down Dustin Monaco, their starting quarterback, who suffered an ankle injury last week. John Nemec told me, their head coach told me that they are not planning on practicing Monaco, and they are not planning on playing him. Although it is a little touch and go, he might see the field. Who knows? At this point, they might figure it's safer just to sit him out. The other problem for Roosevelt is they are down backup quarterback Cardell Jackson, who tore an ACL 2 weeks ago. Cardell is scheduled, I believe, today or tomorrow, today being Wednesday, tomorrow being Thursday, to have that knee scoped and looked at to make sure that there's an ACL tear. The first time they looked at it, it was a bit fuzzy, Nemec told me in the results, the MRI. So they're not 100% sure they're going to have to go in and look at it, but it is likely that their backup quarterback and 4-year starter and captain and kind of do-it-all player, he lines up at receiver mostly, is out for the year, which means they're going to be relying on a JV quarterback this week against Crestwood. So look for Marcus Cadillo, the running back, to get a lot of carries. He's going to have to kind of shoulder the load, and the defense, led by Matt Summers, is going to have to do the same if Roosevelt's going to get past a pretty decently talented Crestwood team. Crestwood's 4-4 on the year, and they have some weapons. They have a couple of good running backs. They have a quarterback, and Gabe Surgeon, who can make some plays with his feet and his hand, or arm rather. So, it's not exactly an easy week for Roosevelt. I think I expect them to win, and I'm sure they expect to win, but it's not going to be an easy challenge at all by any means for Roosevelt this week. Since Wyndham and East Canton left the league last year, the PTC has decided to have cross-division games between Metro and County Division teams. And most of the teams have had their cross-division game, although there is another one left on the schedule this week when Ravenna hosts Southeast. These two teams used to be in the Metro Division together for quite some time until Southeast moved down to the county a couple years back. And they actually met in a first-round playoff game a couple years ago at Ravenna. Ravenna picked up a win there in a really good game. This year is a little different. Neither team is really looking at a playoff bid, with Southeast 4-4 overall and Ravenna coming into this game 2-6 on the season. Although the Ravens have got a couple wins lately. They picked up a win over Crestwood 2 weeks ago, 22-20, and they picked up a win over Coventry last week, looking good in the process, 36-12. Southeast, meanwhile, comes into this game fresh off of a 56-0 win over Ritztown. And 2 weeks ago, they lost to Garfield 24-21. It's hard to tell with the Ritztown game, because Ritztown is, they're struggling this year. They're 0-8. Their numbers are down. So it's kind of hard to tell. They have been shut out a couple times this season and lost big in most of their games. So I think the real Southeast team is somewhere in between that win over Ritztown, and maybe that loss to Garfield and their loss a couple weeks back to Streetsboro. I think they're kind of an average team this season, still trying to kind of figure out what to do under Coach Scott Pollock's first year as head coach with the program. Against Garfield, they turn the ball over too much. They go for it on fourth down every time, so they kind of gamble, which I don't think they're going to be able to do against Ravenna, because you have to remember Ravenna, although they're 2-6, their losses have come to 5-3 Talmadge, 7-1 Aurora, 8-0 Louisville, 2 7-1 teams in Roosevelt and Norton, and they're losing to good teams. So they're a talented group in and of themselves. I don't think Southeast is going to be able to take a lot of chances against Ravenna, and if they can't take chances against the Ravens and capitalize on those risks, I don't think that they're going to win this game. I think the athlete and the size and the number difference is going to be too great for the Pirates to overcome this week against Ravenna. I'm looking at the Ravens to get a third straight win this season. So this week, Woodridge takes on Ritztown in their second last game this season, and I'm not really sitting here and saying that Ritztown has a chance to pull the upset, because I just honestly don't think that's going to happen. Woodridge has held all but 2 teams this year to 13 or less points, and they haven't given up more than 13 points since week 3 in a loss to St. Vincent St. Mary. So while their offense is putting up huge points, they put up 41 points each of the last 2 weeks, their defense is also shutting teams down, and I expect the same to happen this week against Ritztown. And for that matter, I really expect the same thing to happen in week 10 when they host Garfield on Woodridge's senior night. So what that means is that unless something happens that's unexpected, Woodridge is in a great position to claim an outright county division championship. And only twice before a potential third time this year has a team other than Mogador won a league championship. 2005, Garfield won the league title outright. In 2011, it was Southeast that won the league title outright. Ever since then, or other than that, it has been Mogador either winning outright, which they have done 3 times, or shared a league title, which they have also done 3 times. In 2009, they shared the league title with Woodridge. They lost to the Bulldogs during the regular season, but Woodridge, rather ironically, or I guess interestingly enough, lost to Ritztown later that year to force a share of the league championship. But I don't see that happening this year. So for Mogador, who finishes the season this week against Waterloo and on week 10 against Southeast, actually that's something I'm going to talk about next week, because that's a whole nother deal when the Pirates come to town. It's looking like the Bulldogs have a great shot. If I were to put money down in Vegas, I would say that the Bulldogs are the odds-on favorite to win this whole thing outright, which is a great thing for the program. And going into week 4, I don't know if I could have said that, coming off of pretty bad losses to Manchester and St. Vincent St. Mary's. Regardless of how good those 2 teams are, and they have 1 loss between them, they were ugly losses. And I didn't know where the Bulldogs would be mentally and in terms of preparation and confidence going into league play, but here they are in the driver's seat with a chance to control their own destiny and a chance to make some history in the program. I don't know if Woodridge has ever won a league title outright. If they have, feel free to correct me, but I'm pretty sure that that's never happened. So good luck, obviously, these next 2 weeks to Eric Irvin and the Woodridge Bulldogs.
Playoff Watch 2013.
Did I miss it? I missed it, right? That didn't get played. It didn't happen. I heard it, but I wasn't here, and it didn't interrupt me, and that was the idea for me to avoid
Playoff Watch 2013.
Just play it. So not a whole lot of change in the playoff rankings this week. Kent Roosevelt is at 4th in Division 2, Region 3. The Rough Riders, it seems like they've moved up and down or around Region 3, but every week it seems like they're matched up with Bedford, and the same holds true this week. If the season were to end, Kent Roosevelt would host a home playoff game against 5th-seeded Bedford. Both teams are 7-1. It's worth noting that there is not an undefeated team in the region. The top 5 teams, Willoughby South, Glenville, Brecksville, Broadview Heights, Roosevelt, and Bedford, are all 7-1 overall. Norton has moved up a smidge in Division 3, Region 7. The Panthers are 10th overall, but they still need a lot of help. They still have to win out, and even if they do win out, I'm not 100% sure if Norton will be able to get into that 8th seed for a playoff bid, the first playoff bid, I think, in program history. The Woodridge Bulldogs over in Division 4, Region 11 remain in great shape. The Woodridge Bulldogs are 2nd in the region behind Chagrin Falls. They're right above 5-3 Youngstown Cardinal Mooney. If Woodridge wins out, they might drop a little bit just from the strength of their schedule and the strength of the teams around them. But I think, don't hold me to this, but I think Woodridge would still be in good shape for a home playoff game. Regardless, if the season were to end today, the same as it's also been with Roosevelt's case for a couple weeks now, Woodridge would host Cleveland Benedictine, who is 5-3 overall. It's worth noting that Woodridge technically does not control its own destiny in the region. Chagrin Falls, Cardinal Mooney over at the 3rd seed, and 6th-seeded John Hay of Cleveland. Those are the only 3 teams in the region who control their own destiny. So if they win out, they are guaranteed a playoff spot. Meanwhile, in Division 6, Region 19, Mogador does control its own destiny. The Wildcats are second ranked in Region 19, behind only Canfield South Range. At 7-1 overall, Mogador, if they win out, they are guaranteed a playoff spot. They're likely to win out, but hey, even if they lose in Week 10 to Southeast, they may still hang on for a playoff spot. It's kind of, I'd have to look at the numbers, and I'm not much of a mathematician. But if the season were to end today, Mogador would take on Louisville St. Thomas Aquinas in a kind of a cool little battle of teams, very familiar to area football fans. I'm not sure the last time the two programs have met, but I'm sure they have before, and it would be a good matchup if these two squads were to meet up on the gridiron this year. That's it for another very chilly week inside the PTC. As always, my name's Colin. You can follow me on Twitter at RC Sports Now. You can like me on Facebook at Colin Harris Record-Courier. You can visit us online at www.recordpub.com. You can email me at charris@recordpub.com. Or you can just bug me when you see me in person and tell me how great of a job I am doing. If you have any reason to tell me that I'm doing a bad job, please just silently curse me to yourself and say that kid's a doofus. Anywho, that's all I got this week. Check me out next week. I'll be here, same time, same place, inside the PTC.